So please, let's go back to our schools. If you don't find the national curriculum, use your eternal curriculum. Brother, Professor Musa Aibinu designed a tool, patented. Mashallah, he got his PhD thesis from it. Is it useful? Yes. Unfortunately, we cannot identify how many of the pupils or children we produce from secondary school, from the university, that can say this is what we have invented to contribute to the body of knowledge. And that is one of the things we need to start taking a look at when we talk about curriculum. May Allah make it easy for us, inshallah. The brother in Arabic, okay, you want to say something, Nadia? Okay, I will. Before what we're supposed to be having now, inshallah, from 11:30 to 12:30, was supposed to be panel discussion. However, we are continuing, inshallah. When they arrive, we introduce them and we go ahead. Hajj will say a few words, then we'll return to you to continue the panel discussion until the brothers arrive. Okay. We have one of our founding members of AMIS and one of the pillars of AMIS in Nigeria, in Abuja, Ajam Mariam. When you know Nuru Bayan, have you heard of the school? Naham. So Ajay is going to have intervention for us.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to, in addition to what our lecturers have said, maybe from my personal experience of 40 years in education and in schooling, and peculiarly from my background, I see the notice. I notice the difference that we are looking for a solution for it today. I want all of us to imagine 2 cups of colored water, one blue and one yellow. If you put drops of the blue in the yellow liquid, what is the result? Yellow, yellow, with very little change of the yellow. It will be a little bit greenish because you remember that you put drops. And if you put vice versa, few drops of the yellow liquid in the blue cup, most likely the color will disappear to remain blue. Islamic system, Islamic education, and the Western, so-called Western education is completely 2 different methods of learning. When you want to blend or integrate, as we are calling it today, one will overcome the other. Somebody that from the nursery level to the secondary, to the university, to the PhD, till we become professor and prophesize, is going through the Western education with little drops of the Islamic knowledge that cannot even read Al-Fatiha correctly. Up till now, we are still in Alhamdulillah. So how do you imagine the result of this combination, integration? In my own experience and belief, if we as Ummah, we are looking at the result end of Muslims who are highly educated, we have to identify exactly what are our targets. My brother, he spoke about the aims, and in Singapore, they wanted engineers or mathematicians. In America, they wanted a man on the space. I studied the Nigerian curriculum, and I was shocked when I see that the main target and aim and objective of the Nigerian curriculum is to create literacy to solve the problem of illiteracy. Wallahi. Go back to it. Online, you will find it. Whereby when we looked into the British curriculum, for example, recently it has been modified to curriculum that produce people who will lead the word. Lead the word. You can see where we are going. We want to solve reading and mathematics, basic things. Here, Amis and others, our professors, have a lot of work to do, collectively. Then, secondly, the combination or integration of Islamic and non-Islamic. Now, sincerely, if we look at the most standard Islamic school, you can say that 80% Western education, 20%. And what is the Islamic package we have? We teach them Quran that they don't understand anything out of it. They only memorize. Am I right? If you ask them about any ayah from Juz' Amma, what's the meaning? They don't know. Ahkam, any surah, they don't know. And they learn some Arabic words and statements that in most cases they are pronounced wrongly. So which Islamic we are talking about? If we can go back to the history, you see our big Islamic scholars, they were imams. They were scholars in the Islamic knowledge first, then they became pharmacists, or they became engineers. If you go to algebra, before he specialized in algebra, that is Jabir ibn Hayyan. It's an Islamic scholar who found the science of algebra. He was an imam. He wrote so many books about fiqh. And it was the outlet, the door, the gate for the algebra. Because we all agree that all knowledge belongs to Al-Quran. We are doing so many things that are wrong, my brothers and sisters. We have good intention and we want to make a change, but like we are missing the road. May Allah guide us. Assalamu alaikum. Before you tell me.
Thank you so much. Takbir. Okay, alhamdulillah. We are at that time that we are open to discussions. May I use this opportunity to invite Dr. Muhammad Salam Salid Ibrahim, Takbir, and Dr. Rehab Hamdi Hamad Sahid. We welcome them to be part of the panel. By the way, for those of us that are not part of the Arabic session, the erudite scholars handle the Arabic session. Shalom Araba. Please sit down. Okay, so we have open session now, panel discussion. If you have questions, I want us to use two methods. Kindly write your question on paper. We're going to collect them so that we now give to our panelists to discuss. While we are waiting your question, we may not have the time to attend to everybody making comments. But if you have questions, kindly write them, pen them to us, then we can start treating them according to the panelists. For those of us now, Dr. Saad, are you going to be handling it in Arabic or in English? Or both? You prefer Arabic? It's not because of me, actually. It's because of those that cannot understand Arabic. So maybe you can do English. It's not me, actually. It's not me. You hope, yes. For your sake. For your sake, not me, actually. Okay, so what we do, inshallah, if the two of them, okay, so we have those that will interpret on behalf of those of you that cannot understand Arabic. Okay, so, Doctor, you can speak in Arabic, then we'll have Yeah, somebody will translate for inshallah. No problem, inshallah. Okay, so please write your questions. We will come around to collect them, and your question will be answered to inshallah. So the panel, the chair, you dictate the. Okay. So get the question. Because if we ask anybody to be speaking, they may speak. It will take longer time.
Alhamdulillah, the full panel is now set, and we are going to give 5 minutes to each of the panelists. We will give more time to our Arabic panelists so that we can also benefit a little from what they did in the Arabic session, and we'll also answer questions. So as we are waiting for the questions, probably we'll start with the panels, right? Can we start with Sheikh? From.
If any person has a question, can ask. Now the people ask.
We'll need somebody to interpret for us. Sheikh, somebody is here? Okay. Salam.
كم دقيقة أو minutes? Fine. No problem, 5 is good. أبدأ. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وبعد، فأولا أشكر القائمين والمنظمين لهذا الحدث الكبير الجميل المفيد، كما أشكر السادة الحضور الذين أتعبوا أنفسهم ليستمعوا إلى شيء قد نستطيع به جميعاً أن نخدم اللغة العربية في مجتمع نيجيريا. والذي يحرص على خدمة اللغة العربية إنما هو يحرص على خدمة الإسلام.
The speaker said he is thanking the management, the authorization of Model Islamic School program, and is very, very beneficial program. He said any effort we put into learning and teaching Arabic language is a very, very great effort, and is going to be of benefit to Nigeria as a country. Fadal.
فحرصنا على خدمة العربية إنما هو حرصنا على خدمة الإسلام، سواء قصد المعلم هذا أم لم يقصد.
He said every effort we put into teaching Arabic language is an effort we are putting into teaching Islam, whether as a teacher or as a Muslim. Now.
يعني الحمد لله معلم العربية هو يفيد مجتمعه ويفيد نفسه في الدنيا وفي الآخرة. أما معلم غير العربية يفيد نفسه ومجتمعه في الدنيا. أما مسألة الآخرة فهذه تحتاج إلى نية.
He said the teacher of an Arabic teacher, Alhamdulillah, is a teacher that is going to serve the community, is going to get his reward here in the life, and thereafter is going to get his reward as well. He said, but every other teacher is only going to get his reward here, in the hereafter he might not have any reward. Now.
ومن باب خدمة العربية أن نعرف كيف تدرس اللغات اليوم. You take my translator now.
Now, and for us to be able to do that, we need to know how languages are taught in modern life now.
لأن تعليم اللغات أصبح ليس كما كان قديما، أصبحت له طرق حديثة يجب أن يأخذ بها المتخصصون في اللغة العربية.
Because teaching Arabic language is not like the olden days. It was very simple and just straightforward. But now there are many technologies, there are many methodologies that the Arabic teacher has to learn to be able to teach the Arabic language correctly.
ومن أهم الجوانب التي أصبحت تراعى لتعليم اللغة، أي لغة، أن يكون هذا من منظور تكاملي.
One of the important aspects that should be taken into consideration when we are teaching language, any language, not only Arabic, is that the perspective of teaching the language should be a holistic perspective.
قديما كانت اللغة تدرس وحدها.
Traditionally, Arabic language was taught as a separate language.
دون النظر لبقية المواد التي تدرس معها في نفس الفصل الدراسي.
Without integrating the language, the Arabic language, with the other subjects that are taught to that particular class or that particular student collectively.
التكامل يرفض هذه النظرة لتعليم اللغة.
The holistic perspective rejects this method.
فينظر إلى تعليم اللغة بأنها تكمل مع غيرها المنهج الدراسي للطلاب.
It should be looked at that the Arabic language, together with other subjects, work together to complete and comprehensively achieve the aims and objectives of the curriculum.
فكل المواد الدراسية ومنها اللغة العربية لابد أن تخدم الأهداف التربوية التي جاءت لتخدم الأهداف الكبرى والعليا للمجتمع الذي وضع هذا المنهج التعليمي.
Beautiful. He's saying that the Arabic language, or teaching the Arabic language, as well as the other subject, they should be integrated to serve the national curriculum in the country. So the Arabic language now is not taught as an individual subject.
فليس هذا فقط، إنما التكامل أيضا داخل المادة الواحدة. يعني أن أدرس المادة بطريقة تكاملية أراعي فيها ترتيب الأجزاء، أن يأتي وأن يلقى للطالب بصورة متدرجة وتراكمية.
Also, we have to look at the subject or Arabic subject as a subject. There are certain conditions that we should observe when we are teaching this subject. Just like any other subject, that we start from the simple and we grow to the more complicated and comprehensive topics.
فالتكامل يعني أنظر في اللغة إلى مستوى الطالب الذي أمامي، ماذا عنده من خبرات سابقة فأبني عليها، وماذا يجب أن يأخذه في هذا الوقت فلا أعلو عليه، بل أراعي السابق عند البناء واللاحق في سبيل الوصول إليه بصورة متدرجة ومتراكمة.
Teaching Arabic language, it should be step by step. I should consider the age of the child, the level, which is the class of the student, and know exactly what is the total topics and information that this child needs, and I started with him or with her gradually.
كل هذا من أجل الوصول بنمو المتعلم. فالمتعلم هو المحور الذي تقوم عليه العملية التعليمية من وجهة نظر المنهج الحديث.
This is what we should do so we can achieve at the end of the day that our learner, that is our student, has achieved the general and the utmost objectives for the modern education, whether Arabic or otherwise.
بهذه الطريقة نستطيع أن نحصل على متعلمين وطلاب عندهم نمو شامل في كافة المجالات ونمو شامل في كافة السلوكيات.
Yeah. He said in this way we can guarantee that the learners learn what they need to learn, not only linguistically, but also the attitude and the general learning, because Arabic language is not just about learning vocabularies or verbs or grammar. It's a way of training the student, the child, and also disciplining that child through the language of Arabic.
وبهذه النظرة الحديثة تتقدم المجتمعات وتصل إلى ما ترجوه من أهداف. وجزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Brother is saying that our target should not be just the student to learn some Arabic, but we want him to be an Arab person who perfects the language and who lives and behave according to the teachings of this language, which he believes that it is according to the Quran and to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And with that, we will achieve the utmost objective that modern education is targeting. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan kathira. And my sister, Jazakallah khairan kathira. We have so many questions and so many observations.
His question, you want her to read it and translate to him.
Okay. Okay, no problem. But there are two. Yes.
We have so many people to attend. Supposed to. Okay. As possible. And meet any of the panelists one-on-one, inshallah. And they'll be able. We start with the very first question, and we try to run as quickly as possible. The question was written in English, and Dr. Said would like it to be translated to Arabic for him so that I can provide the answer. Hajj.
Music is not allowed in Islam, so also molding of object. But we have it in the curriculum, and it do come out in the exams, especially in JS exam. What can we do in this regard? الموسيقى حرام في الإسلام، وكذلك صنع التماثيل يعني النحت، ولكنها في المنهاج النيجيري مادة أساسية أو مادة مطلوبة، وخاصة في امتحانات الشهادة الإعدادية. فماذا يفعل المسلم أو المدرسة الإسلامية في هذه الحالة؟
نعم، بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أولا لا أتكلم من منظور فقهي حرام وحلال، فليس هذا تخصصي.
He will not speak about halal and haram. This is fiqh and it's not his line of specialization.
رأيي وهي النقطة الثانية أن المسلم عليه أن يتعلم كل شيء، أن يتعلم كل شيء، لكن ليس عليه أن يمارس كل شيء. يمارس ما يتماشى مع معتقداته وقناعاته، لكن اعرف شيئا عن كل شيء.
He believes that the Muslim should know a lot of things and everything that is possible to him. It doesn't mean that he has to practice everything, because he practices what his religion allows, and he forbids himself from practicing what his religion forbids. But according to him, he believes that the Muslim should learn everything and practice only the lawful things.
هذا ليس لأنني أقول هذا، لكن لأن الله تعالى قال هذا، فوصف سبيل المجرمين في القرآن الكريم ثم قال ولتستبين سبيل المجرمين.
This is not his personal fatwa. He is referring us to the Quran. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes sabil al-mujrimin, Allah described the method or the path of the criminals, of the non-believers. And then the ayah says, litastabin, means that for you to know and to understand. So there is a kind of like permission or window before for the Muslim to know or to be allowed to know what these non-believers they do.
لا أعطيك إجابة على سؤالك في الموسيقى أو النحت، إنما إجابتي لك للطريقة التي يجب أن تفكر بها.
I cannot give you fatwa about music or the molding. I'm just giving you a theory how a Muslim should think. Thank you. If the brothers and sisters want my personal opinion, I didn't look at the music in my school. I say, what? It's one question. It is one question. I don't teach music, and let the student miss that one question in the exam.
Jazakillah khairan kathira. We'll go to sister.
نعم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هناك سؤال بالإنجليزية عن ماذا عن المعلمين غير المسلمين؟ أنا فهمت السؤال الحمد لله. ماذا عن المعلمين غير المسلمين في مدارس نيجيريا وهم كثر؟ كيف يعني نحقق التكامل في مناهجهم، أو كيف نحقق التكامل معهم يعني من وجهة ليست إسلامية؟
Alhamdulillah, the sister was able to read the question in English and understand it. And the question says that, what about the non-Muslim teachers that we sometimes employ in our schools? Will they be able to achieve the holistic objectives that an Islamic school, an Islamic teacher is looking for?
نحن لم نتحدث عن التكامل بوصفه شيئا يخص المسلمين أو غير المسلمين.
The holistic objectives that we are talking about, it doesn't mean that it has to be for Muslims or for non-Muslims. It is a holistic objective and target or aims and objectives for the whole society.
فالتكامل منهج يتعلق بالمعارف والعلوم، والمعارف والعلوم يتعلمها كل إنسان على الأرض.
The perfection that we are looking for, it is general for everybody that should care about and try to achieve in the society, in the country, in all aspects of life.
أضرب مثالا واحدا، التكامل في مجال العلوم الطبيعية، هذا يعني لا علاقة له بديانة المعلم. فالتكامل يقوم بين الأحياء والكيمياء والفيزياء والرياضيات بنفس الأسس التي نعلم بها معلم العربية كيف يفعل التكامل في اللغة العربية وفي القرآن.
For example, chemistry, physics, mathematics, biology, and other things. This one doesn't need to be specifically for a Muslim teacher. And we can achieve that perfectness and high standard of education even through the non-Muslim teacher.
Sorry, I have one comment in this point. تكلمنا كثيرا باسم الإسلام لأننا فقط مسلمون، لكن ليس معنى هذا أن العنوان المؤتمر للمسلمين، بل هو جاءنا من عند الغربيين.
We are speaking too much about Muslims and Islam just simply because we are Muslims and the program is organized by an Islamic organization. But the concept of conference itself, it came to us from the non-Muslim world.
فإن كنت غير مسلم ستستفيد جدا من أمر التكامل إن فهمته وطبقته في عملك كمعلم.
We should understand and believe that the concept of perfection, it can be achieved by the Muslim and by the non-Muslim. And if we train the non-Muslim teachers to achieve that through the areas and subjects, they can serve us and do it for us in our schools.
لكن إن كنت مسلما ستنجح في حياتك وتؤجر في آخرتك. فإن أردت الاثنين معا فأسلم.
He said that that perfection that we are looking for in our schools, in our education, if a Muslim do it, he will inshallah achieve the perfection in this dunya and the ajr in the akhirah. But for the non-Muslim, he will at least achieve that perfection and good standard of education in this dunya. If he wants al-akhirah, let's invite him to Islam.
Thank you very much. Jazakumullahu khairan kathira. I think what we are talking about is integration of a curriculum. And we are here as AMI schools, and we are faith-based schools. So that is why we want to have tips, we want to have strategies, we want to have ways or methods to ensure that the national curriculum that is given to us, which our students will still write exams with other students, with other Nigerian students that are not in our schools are capable of writing that exams without examination malpractice, and at the same time, they have gotten the Islamic knowledge, they have gotten the Islamic morality, which will differentiate them from other citizens. What are we trying to produce? What kind of students are we trying to produce? We are trying to produce responsive citizens that will be the change makers. That when they want to produce the algebra again, we want to produce all those that brought knowledge, the kind of knowledge. So that is why we're talking about the Islamic perspective, and we're talking about the Islamic. And somebody mentioned the lesson plan Islamization of Bilal Phillips, which is simple, which says bring morality back to the classroom. By the time we bring morality back to the classroom, we have taken away the issue of these vices. And we're talking about issues of bringing morality, because now the kind of curriculum we are using is a secularized curriculum, which has taken away religion, which has taken away morality out of the classroom. So we are trying to remove the secularization from it, but take the good aspect and incorporate it. So bringing in issues of the verses of the Quran, the Hadith, the historical background, will now put everything in context for our students so that they learn what is in the curriculum, what the NERDC has given us, and also what Islam has provided at the same time. Thank you. So we are going to...
Sister,
Dr. Aisha or Dr.
do you
Sharifa?
want me to translate that to him?
No.
So maybe, okay.
There are some questions here, but probably I will answer 2, 3, and then hand over the mic to Dr. Sharifa. The first one is the issue of Islamic integration. AMIS has to put more effort by inviting parents at all levels in form of PTA to notify them, because most parents are ignorant of that. That is for AMIS. And then another one said, we are expecting writing materials from AMIS to assist us. Writing materials have not been given to the participants, so they are asking for that. Number 3, please, can AMIS prepare curriculum for Islamic schools to youth in Nigeria? I think that has been started actually. I could remember there was a time, 2018 or 2017, when the Triple IT in collaboration with AMIS, Kano branch, invited the teachers, the proprietors, Islamic scholars of what have you for a workshop about 4 or 5 days. Now that is in the making day. We are trying to create a curriculum, an integrated curriculum for AMIS schools, inshallah. And then I think I will stop here.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will pick it from where she just finished now. You said they should prepare a curriculum for AMIS. I remember years back, I was part of the AMIS Secretariat. In that conference at National Merit House, it was said that Arabic should be, let me say, they should allow Islamic schools to drop French for Arabic. But till date, French is still compulsory. So if we are waiting for AMIS curriculum that will be certified by Nigeria or NERDC, I don't know when it will happen, but we will still continue. Okay? The implementation. Okay. So, but the implementation of whatever is on ground, we can actually work on that to reflect Islam. And that is what we are saying. Lesson notes can be written in such a way that it will have Islamic components using the Nigeria curriculum, because most of our students will go out and write WAEC, we go out and write BASIC. Though we have Islamic universities, Bilal Phillips, the Islamic online universities, all these Malaysia university, even Al-Kalam and the rest, but it's not enough. So our students will still go to the conventional universities. So we need to prepare them for all those things. I have so many questions here, but I've decided to narrow them down and put the similar ones together. Somebody asked about Islamization of mathematics. Yes, how can we apply Islam in maths? If you are teaching addition, okay, if you are teaching addition, you can use Salat, daily Salat as example. 2, 4, 4, 3, 4. You give them. Tell them 2 for this, 2 for 3, 4 for this, and at the end of the day, they are solving problems on addition and they are memorizing the Salat. In Zakat, you must actually attain a kind of standard. They have on a particular amount, Nisa, on a particular amount of gold, this is the Zakat. On a particular amount of wealth, this is the. So you should use that for multiplication, addition, and the rest. Then, for Zakatul Fitri, we have Mudun Nabi. Make sure you know the measurement of Mudun Nabi. And when you are teaching measurement in mathematics, you are teaching volume. Use Mudun Nabi. Let them practice with it. Let them know how many, what's the content, how many grams of this is in Mudun Nabi, so that when they are outside the class, they can actually apply it. When they get home and their parents are talking about Zakatul Fitri, they should be able to tell them, this is the volume of the Mudun Nabi. Then another thing, in will sharing, that is ratio. So many. So you can continue. That's why I said a teacher should be very, very creative. And if you don't know what to do, ask the students, because we are telling integrated learning is learner-centered. So some of them can bring ideas. Let them be the one bringing some things to, so that they will bring the point of discussions. Then somebody asked a question about class control, that we are talking about integration, but what of the number of students in the class? National Policy of Education says 40 students to one teacher in secondary education, 35 students to one teacher in primary education, 20 to 1 in nursery, and for technical education, 20 to 1. I think with that, most of the schools are in order. The integration, most of these integrated learning activities can be carried out outside the classes. And that was why I said you can use one period to teach the normal content of Nigerian curriculum. Before the next class, you group them into groups and give them the activities to do as flipped classroom. Then when you come back, you start, there will be a leader, and even you can even decide to be rotating the leaders in the group so that they will be the ones to be presenting, then you moderate it for them. So class control or the large class will not affect it. Then we have, it's still in order, Islam and integration. Somebody said, how can we integrate, how can we teach a concept that Islam says force them into marriage and other things? Yes, we have said it, that you should group these students. And one group should be, you should have the group that will always research on what Islam says, in line with the Quran, in line with the Hadith. Then they will be the one to come and talk about it in the class. At the end of the day, the students will go home with wealth of experiences, because their thinking will never be the same when they're going back home. Somebody asked about ABC. I said A is audience, that's the students and their characteristics. The B is the behavior, the expected outcome at the end of the lesson. Then the C is the condition. That is condition in which they learn and condition in which they will apply it. You cannot teach, when you are teaching and you are teaching something that maybe you are in the north and you are teaching about culture. Teach them about the northern culture before you talk about the other ones, because they are in the north. So they should know about that immediate environment before you now relate it to the world at large. Then D, the degree to which they will learn. Yes, I still stand. I still say that scope is very, very necessary, because even projects in higher institution, you will still have scope. Something that is specific, is measurable, is attainable, is realistic, and is time-bound. You cannot just give them something that at the end of the day, they will come back and they tell you they cannot finish it in the next 2 years. So you should have your scope. Then managing integration and standardized exams. Yes, somebody said in an exam, a student quoted a verse from the Quran under leadership. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's Atila, Rasul, or something. But you can accommodate it. That was why I said in assessment, you cannot use only one method of assessment for integrated learning. You cannot use only standardized assessment. And you know, I said that we have two types of assessment. We have the formative, we have the summative. The formative is the ongoing continuous assessment during learning to assess whether they have actually learned something. So all those questions in continuous assessment, you can have that aspect that will bring out all those other knowledge areas. You understand? So you will make sure that after asking them all those ones that will bring their cognitive content knowledge, you will ask the one that is in Islamic perspective. Then when they know that it is a must, they must know it. Then definitely they will see it as something they must learn. And apart from that, even when the GS3 students, the SS3 students, in their mock, you can have a section for the Islamic perspective. One, you can, after the standardized exam, you can give them a dynamic assessment, whereby you interact with them using intervention or interactionist approach. Intervention is the sense that you give all of them the same mediation. You ask them the same type of question as you are interacting with them. Then the interventionist, those ones that are slow learners, that have cognitive deficiency, that you have actually diagnosed maybe while doing the continuous assessment, you can actually use interactionist approach for them. Then, I'm sorry, I think, yes. So arranging of the content. Somebody said, why did I say Nigeria curriculum is not faulty? Or yes, when you are to cook soup and you have your ingredients And you said somebody to go to the market to buy the ingredients for you. Somebody brought Maggi, pepper, in different, order. You can rearrange it to suit what you want to use it for. So the fact that it's scattered does not mean it's very, very faulty. Because the problem we have is those people preparing the curriculum are not the one implementing it. They are not the end users. I'm very sorry to say, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. The people that will go and sit down to design the curriculum, they are the executives. The directors that are no longer in the classroom, that they don't know what is actually happening. So you cannot do without that, and you accept it like that. But one thing you can do is to rearrange the content, rearrange the learning experiences, and rearrange your assessment to reflect what you want from the learners. So finally, the prerequisites. Okay, somebody asked whether they can actually teach prerequisites of a concept in the class before teaching the actual content. Well, it's not that it's bad, but it may not be possible because of the time. The time is very, very limited. So when you are going home in the previous class, you can give them that concept for them to research on as a flipped classroom. When they come back, 5 minutes, they will tell you what they have, researched on the topic. That is the one that you can use as scaffold for whatever you want to teach. So, Salamu Alaikum. May Almighty Allah continue to guide us aright.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, in as much as we're talking about Islamizing our curriculum, bringing in Islamic values and beliefs into what we're teaching the children, that is very important. But let us not also forget how the instruction should be delivered. Let us also talk about that. How are we going to deliver this instruction to the children? Because even in the Islamic subjects, it's still being taught in a disintegrated way. Okay, is there a way of bringing in Sirah with fiqh and and all of that? Okay, and the questions I'm getting here is actually on that, on how, for example, this one is saying I should do my explanation on how to integrate reading, writing, grammar, and all of that. This conference is not a workshop where you actually go down into the nitty-gritties, but generally, where language is concerned, when you read any text, it's in a particular form, okay? It can be fiction or non-fiction. It can be in form of a prose. It can be an instruction or a procedure. So if, for example, you have a recipe, how to cook rice, okay? How to cook rice. It's an example of an instructional text. And every text has its own grammatical instruction. That is where grammar comes in. You must teach, for example, verbs, okay? Because you must start with the verb, pour water in the pot and all of that, so that you can teach your grammar while, looking at a text. You can do your comprehension in that same text. You don't have to teach comprehension using a different text, and focus on only answering questions. And then when it's time for grammar, you bring in maybe adjectives, you teach that one in isolation. If it's adjectives that you're interested in teaching, okay, which of these different kinds of genres where adjectives can be used? So in the particular text, what I mean by text is the written passage, okay? And from there, everything will be embedded. They can discuss it. So your speaking and listening skills come into play. You discuss it, you let them see how that passage is structured, okay? Before you jump into them writing theirs. Let them see, because every text type has particular features, that you must follow for it to meet up to standard, okay? And this is what examiners mark. So other areas of, language can come into play, and you're doing all these things together. So that's basically what the questions I'm getting here, how to actually do the integration of each of these subjects. Allah.
There is another question. Somebody is asking, I'm a preschool teacher, and we teach rhymes a lot. Now my question is, what is the difference between music and rhyme? I think there is no harm in teaching rhymes. Rhymes are there purposely for education. And there is no music. I think music is when you have instruments you use for. But rhymes, I think, is just a sort of teaching. It's a means of learning where maybe words, alphabets, and so many other things can be put in song so that the students can be able to learn quickly and more effectively. I think there is no harm. As far as I am concerned, I don't know others.
Assalamu alaikum once again. There's another question which I think it's important. Please, how can one manage the normal 40 minutes period when teaching an integrated curriculum, considering how lengthy creating integrated curriculum is? I think you have to do, if you are teaching 40 minutes, you have to do 2 hours planning, right? Before you are able to, so that by the time you go, all your 40 minutes, you have already integrated it. But the experts are there. For the literature books, I think that is the work of AMIS National. You have to do high-level advocacy to NERDC, Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education, as well as the National Council of Education, to reduce the negative aspects in the already work has started. It has to continue, please. How can we integrate history curriculum that claims the acceptance of Islam in the Sahara region is majorly through jihad and forceful marriage of up to 4 women? I don't know. Jihad is not war only, please. We have to understand what is jihad, and that is our opportunity to correct that. If we are doing it, it is our opportunity to correct that misperception. So whatever it is, we correct it. But we will not say we will not do it because our students are writing the same examinations. They are going to be subjected to that. So our students will learn what is there in a corrected way. I teach civic education. I have a student who quoted a surah for me in one of the examination to attempt a question based on the topic respect to constituted authority. So how I think you answered that. Go? Somebody answered, yes. I think Dr. Sharifa has also answered on the Nigerian curriculum. The only thing I can say there is that all of us are stakeholders. All of us have a role to play. If we have something to add, let us write and let us submit. And that is where we are very weak in. We just prefer to take, not to contribute. Somebody requested Professor Aisha to elaborate more on integrated curriculum. I think there is a document or a book, a manual that was put together by IIIT, which will be circulated to all participants. There, step by step, how to do integration is included. I think it will be useful. I recommend it for you. Somebody is criticizing curriculum integration, and he or she feels that that is what is making our students not to have sufficient knowledge, because we are deviating and giving them integrated curriculum. He thinks or she thinks we should be discussing curriculum specialization. However, what is interesting is that the same person also said with curriculum specialization, we can achieve 21st century skills, critical thinking, collaborative skills, communication, and problem solving. So you are doing integrated curriculum. So these are some of the questions that were, I think I gave you another one.
هناك سؤال جاء بالعربية يقول صاحبه أن التواصل بين الأجانب والعرب يكون صعبا أحيانا بسبب أن العربية غير الفصحى العامية موجودة في بعض الدول العربية، فكيف يمكن التغلب على هذا؟ ويرى أن وجود عامية وفصحى من أسباب عدم تطور اللغة العربية على مستوى العالم. هل تترجمين السؤال أو أكمل؟
The question says that Arabic language sometimes is problem between Arabs and non-Arabs because some of the Arabs, they speak dialects, whereby the non-Arab only learn the classical Arabic. So how can this problem be solved?
نعم، أولاً أتحدث عن مصطلح أجانب. إن كنت يعني مسلماً فأنت لست أجنبياً بالنسبة للعربية، أنت فقط ناطق بلغة أخرى.
She commented first on a word the person used, which is stranger. Ajnabi means stranger. And she said that if you are a Muslim, you cannot be a stranger to an Arab person. As long as you are a Muslim, you are a brother or you are a sister to the others.
نعم. ثم الازدواجية اللغوية في البلاد العربية يعني وجود عامية وفصحى لا يصعب التواصل، كما يوجد في نيجيريا لغة رسمية الإنجليزية ويوجد لغات محلية مثل الهوسة والإيبو واليوبا، وهذا أيضا لا يصعب التواصل.
Now, said that the dialects, the use of dialects language is not should not be a hindrance of communication and understanding one another among the Arab people and Muslims from other nationalities, because it exists in every country almost. She gave example of Nigeria, as there is the official language. There's also native languages like the Hausa, the Yoruba, and the Igbo, and other languages. Of course, Nigeria have very large number of languages. And this is something goes back to the history and to the culture that you cannot easily eliminate and unify. So it is one of the problems. But every Arab, even though they speak dialects, Arabic language, the classical Arabic language is the basic and the official language that they all learn. They speak dialect maybe among themselves, but in schools and in official places, they all speak the Arabic classical and they learn by the classical Arabic.
وتصديقا لما قلت أن لكل مقام مقال، يعني الفصحى في البلاد العربية تستخدم في المؤسسات الرسمية، يعني الغير العربية أو الناطق بلغة غير العربية إن ذهب مثلا إلى مصر أو إلى السعودية يريد أن يتعلم الفصحى يذهب إلى المؤسسات الرسمية، هذا مستخدم.
نعم. She's just completing what I've said about the classic language, the Arabic, that in official places and in schools and universities. Even when a visitor, like from Nigeria or anywhere, visit any Arabic country, you see that an Arab person switch immediately to the classic. Even among themselves, they could be speaking a dialect, but when they meet a visitor from other languages or from other countries, naturally, automatically, they switch to the classic Arabic and they start speaking to them the classic. So it's not a barrier, it's not a hindrance of learning and communicating with the Arabs. Wallahu a'lam.
ثم إن كنت في مصر وتتحدث الفصحى في الشارع المصري الذي يتحدث العامية فإن الناس سوف يفهمونك، يتحدثون عامية لكن يفهمون الفصحى، فلن تجد صعوبة في التواصل.
أنا already سبقتك في هذه النقطة إن شاء الله.
طيب. الجزء الأخير من السؤال أن الازدواجية اللغوية هذه وجود فصحى وعامية من أسباب عدم تطور اللغة العربية، فهذا يعني أنا أخالف السائل في هذا، أي لغة فيها ازدواجية، لكن من أسباب عدم تطور اللغة أو ضعفها أو عدم انتشارها هو تأخر أهل اللغة في مواكبة مستجدات العصر. فنجد أن لغات البرمجة الآن بالإنجليزية مثلا أغلبها، فليس لوجود ازدواجية. السبب في النقطة الأخيرة هو تأخر أهل اللغة العربية وغير العربية في مواكبة علوم العصر فقط.
My sister is against the opinion that the brother or sister that asked the question said that the dialects, the Arabic dialects in some Arab countries is responsible for the weakness of the language in general. So she believes that it is not so, because the Arabic language is used at all levels, at all places, officially and not officially. But she believes that the reason that the use of Arabic language is deteriorating a little bit because the Arabs and the speakers of the Arabic language, they are not aiming at a high level of education. So it is this kind of concept and this ideology that makes the Arabic language not progressing internationally. She is giving an example that look, most of the sites and researches that are on the internet and see, you hardly find something in Arabic. It's all in English, English, English. And she believes that people who speak the language should start to use that language to promote the language and promote the knowledge of Arabic by looking for the ways to promote the language internationally and in high institutions, in the official and the non-official levels.
نعم، هناك سؤال يقول: عند المسلمين قاعدة تقول إن المسلمين يمشون مشية ضعفائهم، فكيف نطبق هذه القاعدة في العملية التعليمية؟ على قدر يمشون على قدر ضعفائهم.
The question says that there is a proverb, because I can't see no hadith, no Quran to that, but probably is referring maybe to a proverb in Arabic, said that people follow the footsteps of the poor people, of the weak people. How can that, is that true, and at what extent it's affecting the Arabic language?
أولاً أنا لا أدري لماذا تأتيني الأسئلة خارج العنوان Integrated Curriculum. أولاً هذا المبدأ في الإسلام خطأ، ليس في الإسلام، هذا ليس مبدأ إسلامي.
Brother is saying that he's surprised that why there's no questions on the theme of the conference, which is the integration of education. And secondly, he said that he never heard about such a proverb or quotation. I don't know where the brother have brought it from.
أن المسلمين يمشون على قدر ضعفائهم، هذا ليس مبدأ إسلامي، أكيد هذا.
This is for certain that it's not an Islamic principle or Islamic quotation.
كيف وعائشة رضي الله عنها أمنا تصف عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه بأنه إذا تكلم أسمع وإذا مشى أسرع وإذا ضرب أوجع.
نعم. What do you think about what Aisha radiallahu anha said when she was describing Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu? She was describing him with very beautiful and perfect description, that when he speak loud that everybody can hear him. And when he beat for his enemies to have the pain. And when he teach others, he teach them to learn for life. So, and Umar ibn al-Khattab was a leader. So why didn't she say that our leader is weak and we are following the weakness of him? There's nothing like that in Islam. We should look at our leaders with that high standard, esteemed standard, and we should follow the good examples of our leaders.
لكن أنا أفهم ماذا يقصد السائل.
But brother said, but it's like there is a hidden meaning to what the brother is asking, and he, our lecturer, understands what he means, which me, I don't.
هو يقصد حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الضعيف أمير الركب.
Okay. Maybe he said that maybe he means a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam when he said الضعيف أمير الركب, meaning that the weak person in a group should be made like Amir, should be made distinguished, not necessary to be Amir, but somebody recognized in the group. And this is a way of Islam to encourage the weak ones, give them a recognition, give them a kind of position so they can morally be confident and they can boast up.
فأنت فهمت هذا الحديث على أن الركب المجموعة يجب أن تقف وتمشي بقدر الضعيف، وهذا خطأ.
So this hadith doesn't mean that if there is a weak person in the rakb or in the jama'ah or in the country or the community, it means that you should follow his slow footsteps. It doesn't mean that at all.
لكن الحديث يعني أن الجماعة تساعد الضعيف لكي يلحق بها.
Very good. But the hadith means that the jama'ah should help the weak ones, as I said earlier, should help the weak one to be recognized and to try to take a position of leadership so he can be stronger.
فالآن أصحح، دعني أو اسمح لي أصحح لك سؤالك. كيف أفعل بالطلاب الضعفاء داخل الفصل؟ هل أعطل الأقوياء أم أتركه وأمضي كمعلم؟
So the brother wants to reframe the question and relate it to the teachers. As a teacher, how do I behave with the weak students in the class so I can promote them, I can encourage them to improve on their studies and they can be leaders for the others.
نعم، هذه مشكلة تقابل المعلمين، والحل في أن يطبق التكامل integration curriculum.
So the brother said that the answer to that question is that the teacher should learn how to promote the integrated curriculum, because the integrated curriculum is not just give piece of information, but you develop the child or the student in all aspects of his life.
باختصار شديد 5 خطوات تنتهي بها هذه المشكلة. 1.
5 steps. Number 1.
أن المنهج التكاملي يراعي عند وضع المادة أن تكون بترتيب منطقي وسيكولوجي.
Number 1 step is that whatever you teach the student under the integrated curriculum should be logical, should have sense, have meaning, and it should be suitable for the age and the grade of the student. That's number 1.
هذا الأمر يراعى قبل دور المعلم، هذا يراعى من المؤسسات التي وضعت المنهج.
This point, it should be a guideline not only for the teacher, but for the official people who put the curriculum. When they are putting the curriculum, they should consider the step-by-step progress of the knowledge. The topic should go from simple to hard gradually, and that the topic should be suitable also for the grade or for the age of the student. So it is before it comes to the teacher as a teacher in the class should have been considered when putting the curriculum.
المنهج التكاملي يقول يجب أن تكون المادة في طبيعتها تسمح بأكثر من طريقة لتدريسها، فالذي لم يفهم بطريقة المحاضرة يفهم بطريقة حل المشكلات، والذي لم يفهم بهذا يفهم بطريقة الاستكشاف إلى آخره.
Now, the Ustaz is saying that the teacher should choose the method or the methodology that is suitable for the topic or for the subject and the age of the student. Because we have many methodology in learning or in teaching. So it depends on the topic and the subject that teacher knows the best method to use when he's teaching. Maybe he make presentation. If it didn't work, let him use the game method. If it didn't work, he can make a play group and so on like that. That it's only the experienced teacher that will know how to choose the correct methodology.
هذه المشكلة ليست جديدة، هذه منذ أن بدأ الناس يتعلمون، فهناك من يفهم من أول مرة وهناك من يفهم من أكثر يريد التكرار أكثر من مرة.
This is not new in the field of education. This is very, very old challenge. And people and students, they are not equal. They are not the same in the level of assimilation. There are some that understand when you explain to them once. There are others that you have to explain to them in different ways and different times. That's what we call individual differences.
فالطريقة التكاملية في المنهج قالت لك لا تضيع وقت من فهم من أول مرة واشغله بأنشطة داخل الفصل، بينما أنت تكرر الشرح مرة أخرى للطلاب الضعفاء.
Ustazuna said that under the integration curriculum, it doesn't mean that when you have a student that is slow and he needs repetition or needs you to explain further, don't waste the time of the students that are okay with the explanation. There are maybe like 2 or 3 students that understood fast. Don't waste their time and just keep them idle. Engage them in some other work. Either they are answering questions or playing a game, or they are making a discussion among themselves, while you attend to the slower ones, and you try to explain further to them so you can bring all the students to the same level.
رابعاً، المنهج التكاملي قال أن تنوع الأسئلة عند تقويم الطلاب، فمنهم من يحسن الجواب عن أسئلة التعليلات ومنهم من لا يحسن، لكن هذا الذي لا يحسن التعليلات يجيب على أسئلة الاختيار من متعدد، عن أسئلة صح وخطأ، عن أسئلة الإكمال، فتعطي فرصة لمن يعرف لكن لا يستطيع كيف أن يعبر بتنويع أسئلة التقويم.
Ustaz is speaking about evaluation and the tests also. He said, don't let your evaluation questions and the test question to be of the same type of questions, but try to use different ways. Maybe a question that explain, another one put right or wrong, a third question maybe fill in the space, and so on like that, because some students, they can explain. Some others, they cannot explain, though they understand, but they cannot make explanation, but they can answer the question that is right and wrong. Some others that they understand, but they can only put one word, they cannot make full, and so on like that. So the teacher should be conscious of these methods of evaluation and putting questions, so he give equal opportunity to all the students.
آخر شيء بأن نجمع الطلاب الضعفاء معا أو في مستوى التفكير والأقوياء أيضا معا بما يناسب مستوى التفكير، ومن هنا تخف كثيرا هذه المشكلة.
Ustaz said that we should, when sometimes you group the students in a small group, try to mix the weak ones together with the good ones, because the weak ones can learn from the good one. And if you have a student that are very slow or need more time, you can assign one of the very fast ones, one of the very good students to maybe outside the class or during the break or something like that, to go and explain to that weak student, because students sometimes they learn from each other what they couldn't learn from the teacher. Assalamu alaikum.
For all the presentation. We have come to the end of the panel discussion. However, each of the panelists will give us a closing remark. And I want the time spent in putting the constructive questions together and the time you spend in staying back. A lot of conferences like this, towards the end of the program, you will have met empty halls. Alhamdulillah, thank you for staying put, even though this place is a bit stuffy. Inshallah, once we're done, we are supposed to go for Salah, then you convene for for lunch, inshallah. So closing remark from our panelists, and okay, so once we're done, inshallah, okay, before yours, let's just say it, and they'll close for us, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. I am very, very happy for this conference, and particularly the sisters that are analyzing the integration or the integrated curriculum. I only want to add few things. And these few things that it was mentioned by the sisters. My sister there, she mentioned that to have an integrated curriculum, the teacher has to be jack of all. Meaning that our teachers has to be very learned. Learned not only on their subjects, but also learned in other subjects and learned in the Islamic knowledge. Because now we want Islamic integration. If that teacher is not really knowledgeable in Islam, in fiqh, in some little Arabic, in Quran, in the Hadith, where do you want him to bring this integration from? Particularly that we don't have the references, like textbook or something that say, okay, in this topic, add this Hadith and this ayah. Our teachers need to be very learned. And Islamic schools have to look for ways to educate these teachers on all aspects. Math teachers should know some of geography, some of biology, some of history, some of everything. And then they should read newspapers, they should listen to the news, look at TV, go to the internet, search. This responsibility now falls on the Islamic schools themselves to educate their teachers, because it's very difficult to find the kind of teacher that is learned in all facets of life. That is number one. Second issue I want to say, now you can see that the challenges of Islamic schools in the secondary related to curriculum is more than the level of nursery and primary because of the examination. We have subjects, we have topics that have to come in the exam, and it is anti-Islamic. What do we do about it? Fine, what do we do about it is but I want here to advise that the level of nursery and primary should be used and utilized very well in the teaching of the Islamic history, Islamic civilization, Islamic knowledge. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لَاعِبُوهُمْ لِسَبْعٍ. He divided the age or the stage of the child to 3 stages. 7 years, play with them. So our method should be based on playing. Teach them everything by playing. 7 years. And that takes almost the nursery section to maybe grade 1. Then أَدُّبُوهُمْ لِسَبْعٍ. Teach them all the morals, all the discipline. Be firm with them from the age of 7 or after the age of 7 till the age of 14. And this is the tarbiyah. All the tarbiyah we want to inculcate in the student should come through this or during this period. وَصَاحِبُوهُمْ لِسَبْعٍ. And the last 7 years, that's after 14 to 21, صَاحِبُوهُمْ, become their friend. Friend them. Treat them like your friend. Trust them and treat them. Go out with them, sit down, discuss issues that are meaningful to them like friends. So if we look at that hadith really, we know that that stage of 7 years, from birth to 7 years, is very, very important. Islamic schools should concentrate on this stage and teach the child everything that they need to know. And if they pass that stage with all the necessary Islamic values, it will continue with them for the rest of their life. Wallahu alam. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, in conclusion, we've heard so many nice things, today, and some of us might be wondering, gosh, how am I going to start? Where do we start from? How am I going to go about it? Okay, you can just, start with the simplest form of integration, which is integration within a subject. For example, social studies is very easy because we have subjects that, we have topics that are similar, like family and culture. You can just, start with that, see how you can actually achieve objectives across these topics in one, lesson, in one activity, and it's very doable, okay? You're teaching science, for example, and you want to integrate maybe comprehension. They can, look at a scientific report, read it, answer questions from that. You're already doing something like, comprehension already while you are, teaching science, and then, as I said earlier, you don't need to, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have samples already out there. You can take some of them and start practicing. Practicing makes perfect, and see how, before organizations like IIIT and the rest can really come up with a standardized Islamic integrated curriculum.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to conclude by saying we should always remember the ABCD of learning while preparing our content. The audience, that's the level of the students, their ability, the way they take in information, and every other characteristics about them. Then the behavior, that is what are we expecting at the end of the learning process. What is the aim of the curriculum or the learning process? Then the C, the condition or the environment in which they are learning, and the condition or the environment in which they will implement or they will use the knowledge. For example, we are Muslims. We will use it among the Muslims, and we will use it in the society at large, dealing with both Muslims and the non-Muslims. Then the degree, the level, the depth of the knowledge that we want them to have. We should not give them what is above their age. We should not give them below what is expected of them. Assalamu alaikum.
So, alhamdulillah, my appeal is to amaze the national body and the state branches. Please, let us be having more of this, more of conferences, more of workshops where we will learn from each other. And probably this will also serve as a way of networking. Maybe we will be networking between our brothers and sisters, and I believe with that we can be able to come up with something that is tangible. I finally appreciate this. I also congratulate the AMIS for organizing and conducting such a wonderful conference. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Okay, I think that brings to the end of day one of this conference. School owners will be at Fraser Suites this evening after Juma, inshallah. Tomorrow we reconvene for day two, inshallah. I think it's time for us to go for Juma. After Salah, we come for our lunch, inshallah. We thank you for your time, and we hope it is useful. The only way we can see the usefulness is when we see changes in the school and in our children. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.